Get off your mother and go make some mother sense of yourself. Get off your mother and go do something for your mother yourself.
Finesse2Tymes jumped on Instagram Live and didn't hold back. He told GloRilla's sister, Victoria Woods, to chill out and go chase some money. This all kicked off right after Victoria went on Facebook Live, claiming that GloRilla left the whole family behind. So how did this messy drama even begin? Let's run it from the top. On February 4th, 2026, Victoria Scarface Woods hit Facebook Live and went off on her famous sister, calling her out for completely ignoring the family.
Here from now on, I'm gonna make fun of you every time I walk out the door. Every time I go in the door, I'm gonna make fun of you.
Well,
I don't care.
Like I'm gonna do you.
She said their mama was still clocking in at FedEx every day while one brother was out here hustling DoorDash just to make ends meet. Victoria didn't stop there. She said their other brother, who's autistic, was getting no kind of help or support. She blasted GloRilla for living it up off fame for 4 straight years and not sending a single dime back home. According to Victoria, GloRilla stays jumping on interviews talking about their hard times, but never actually shows love to the family. Then she went off again saying, y'all mad cause I'm talking about y'all's favorite rapper. Y'all favorite rapper ain't doing nothing, and my mama's still working at FedEx.
I don't care if you sit over there and cry yourself to sleep every night.
Well, you don't have to.
But if you don't break your ass over there.
I want you to put me out. I want you to do it.
That clip went crazy. Within hours, it was chopped up and spreading all over X, Instagram, and YouTube. Everybody had something to say, but no one spoke louder than Finesse2Tymes, real name Ricky Hampton Jr., been repping Memphis hard for years. He's no rookie in the game. Both he and GloRilla came up out of the same wave, the XXL 2023 freshman class repping the city and making noise together. They've got deep Memphis roots plus industry ties that run back a minute. But when Victoria's viral video started spinning around the internet, Finesse2Tymes wasn't about to sit quiet. He jumped on his Instagram story and reposted a piece of Victoria's rant, typing out, "Somebody tell GloRilla's sister STFUTU."
Man, he can't put you in jail.
I know we
Go to
can't.
hell, you son of a-
Get the hell out of this
No,
yard.
you put me out.
Basically telling her to hush up and stop crying online, and that was just the warm-up. By February 6, 2026, Victoria was already sitting down with TMZ for an interview, saying all she ever wanted from GloRilla was $2,500. That's it. She said the whole situation had her straight up embarrassed in public. She told them, out in the streets, it's embarrassing. I'm at the club, they calling me Glow's sister, and I gotta walk outside to a Chevrolet Malibu.
You not like the Florida. Never win not like no hoe, you know I'm always going in. Run up air out some drinking, I ain't talking about no hands. Every thinking I'm not about it. Bitch, come get up with me then. Nigga, trying to hit it.
Once that interview hit the internet, Finesse2Tymes caught wind of it, and he wasted zero time firing up Instagram Live.
I just got back with my ex. Bitch, he said he's sorry. That's my man. Give me head top.
What came next was a wild rant that had everyone talking. He didn't hold back, not even a little bit. He came straight for Victoria, saying she had no right expecting money off her sister's success when she hadn't built her own name yet. He snapped, saying, "You ain't did what you was supposed to did to be somebody. You don't go to the internet and talk about your folks like that cause you ain't got no hustle."
Ice me out, pussy get the cream, just like Ben and Jerry's. Look me up, I'm labeled a P up in the dictionary. Walk it like I talk it, back it up just like.
That live went viral instantly, and fans were losing it. Everybody had something to say. Finesse2Tymes went off even harder. He told Victoria straight up to get up off you and go make her own money. He literally started listing different ways she could get it herself. He even compared her to his own cousin, saying she used to sit around expecting handouts just like that. No grind, no effort, just waiting on a come up that never came. He said Victoria was giving off the exact same energy. That rant went crazy fast. Within hours, clips of it were blowing up on DJ Academic's page, XXL's page, and all over YouTube reaction channels. The way he spoke was raw, the delivery was unfiltered, and it instantly put Finesse2Tymes right in the center of drama that wasn't even his to begin with.
Oh, sugar now.
Big Glow.
Hey!
7 p.m. Friday. We about to start the show. GloRilla here with J-Hud.
But Victoria wasn't about to back down. She jumped back on Facebook and fired right back at Finesse2Tymes, accusing him of not even taking care of his own mama. She said, he don't take care of his mom like Glow does, trying to flip the whole situation and hit him where it hurt. Victoria tried to question his credibility on the spot, like if he was gonna preach about hustle and family loyalty, she was gonna call out what she saw as his own flaws. That's when things really got personal because now Finesse2Tymes' mama got dragged right into the mess, but she didn't stay quiet either.
Bitch, I'm from Memphis. What you know about me? Big G-L-O-N-G-L-E.
His mom broke her silence and came forward defending her son, shutting down everything Victoria said. Now, what started as a little sister drama turned into full-blown chaos. Two families tangled up, multiple Instagram lives going wild, and rappers from all corners jumping in with their own takes. But through it all, Finesse2Tymes wasn't backing off one bit. The drama didn't end with Victoria, not even close. When the game jumped on Instagram defending GloRilla, saying she didn't owe her family anything, Finesse2Tymes went off again.
I just want to say shout out to all the beautiful ladies in the building tonight. I love y'all.
He called the game a full-on hypocrite and dragged up his own messy family history, asking, where was all that energy when you was dealing with your family problems? He made it clear he wasn't accepting backup from anyone who couldn't keep it real in their own house. That's what made Finesse2Tymes' whole reaction hit different. He wasn't just riding for GloRilla, he was checking everybody. He called out Victoria for acting entitled and the game for being fake about family loyalty. To him, anyone who thought they could eat off another person's success without putting in work was out of line.
But I want to thank God, the beautiful ladies on my label, Interscope, CMG, and all my beautiful women fans. And I don't know, like, shout out to Memphis for making me and raising me. And
His message stayed simple but loud. Go get your own. And nobody said it louder than Finesse2Tymes. To really understand why he snapped the way he did, you gotta rewind and look at what Victoria actually said about GloRilla. Her words weren't light, they were sharp, detailed, and personal. She painted a picture of a family left behind while their most famous member kept climbing without ever looking back. On February 4th, 2026, Victoria went live on Facebook with pure emotion, aiming her words right at her sister's public image. She told everyone watching that GloRilla, born Gloria Hallelujah Woods, had been living large off fame for 4 years straight while the rest of their family was still struggling just to get by in Memphis.
Come back, come back, come back, come back, come back, come back, come back. Get a box, 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 get a box.
She described their parents still working hard, their siblings still hustling, and made it sound like GloRilla had completely forgotten where she came from. It was raw, emotional, and straight from the heart. And that's what set off this entire chain reaction that's still shaking the internet. Victoria didn't hold back. She went deep with it. She said their mama was still out here pulling long shifts at FedEx, breaking her back on a tough job, even though her daughter's music had been streamed hundreds of millions of times. Then she added that their pops was so strapped for cash, he had to hit up their mom just to borrow $100. She claimed their siblings were spread all across Memphis, doing whatever they could just to make ends meet. One brother running DoorDash orders, another brother who's autistic not getting any help from the one person who could easily afford to step in. But what made Victoria's video explode wasn't just what she said, it was how she said it. She got personal, emotional, and specific. She wasn't throwing shade from a distance, she was speaking as someone who lived that life with GloRilla. Victoria talked about sharing the same tiny, roach-filled rooms, the same busted air mattresses, and the same hungry nights. Then watching all those hard times get turned into GloRilla's come-up story, while the people who actually lived it were still struggling.
Jada here with Glo. GloRilla is the best. Hey, everyone can see. Yeah. We your biggest fans on Jada Season 3. Hey, turn up with GloRilla.
She laid it out plain. For you to know how we struggled, for you to know how we got neglected, for you to know how we got mistreated, and for you not to reach back and do nothing for not one of us. The pain in her words made it clear. This wasn't just about money, it was about pride and respect. Victoria even went after GloRilla's whole image. She accused her sister of building a public brand off their family's pain, dropping songs and doing interviews about their struggles just to pull sympathy and love from fans who bought into the rags to riches story. But behind closed doors, Victoria claimed none of that love ever reached the family. She basically called her sister out for cashing in on their shared struggles while leaving the people who lived through it empty-handed. It was a bold, fiery accusation.
Top
top, 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 top. Pussy wet, mop, 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 mop.
Bounce that ass, Bob. And it's exactly why the internet couldn't stop talking about it. Victoria wasn't done stirring things up. She came back with even more fire on social media, dropping posts that got bolder by the minute. She came with what she called receipts. One of her posts read, "Same mom, same dad, 10 siblings. Y'all think she this upright person when she really not. Ain't flew none of us out since she got on. Gloria Woods, call my bluff. It's been 4 years. Why the media haven't seen your siblings?" That last question hit like a punch. Why haven't the media seen your siblings? Wasn't just a shade, it was a straight up challenge. Victoria was making it clear she didn't buy the "I'm just protecting my family's privacy" excuse. She said it wasn't about privacy, it was about being erased. Then she kept doubling down in another post. "Our parents are not straight. Our dad just borrowed $100 from our mom. I had to give my mom $1,800 on a $2,400 rent because y'all favorite rapper blocked her." That claim shook everybody. The idea that GloRilla might have blocked her own mom while her sister was covering rent had people's jaws on the floor. If it was true, that meant this wasn't just neglect, it looked like a total cutoff. Like she wasn't just avoiding contact, but actively ghosting her own family while sitting on millions. People online started debating fast. Some said Victoria was exposing real pain, while others called it clout chasing. But then came the real curveball that flipped the whole situation upside down. On February 6th, Victoria sat down with TMZ, and in that interview, she made a confession that shocked everyone. She said all she ever asked from GloRilla was $2,500. Not stacks, not a house, not even a monthly check, just $2,500. And this is from a rapper with Billboard Hot 100 hits, collabs with Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, and platinum-level success.
Get him back! 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 Get him back!
That small number made the situation sound way deeper, like maybe it wasn't about money at all, but about what that money represented. And just like that, the internet had fresh fuel for a family feud that was already out of control. $2,500 ain't even real money to a chart-topping artist, and Victoria knew that. She leaned all the way into the embarrassment of that huge gap between her life and her sister's. She talked about what it felt like getting pointed out in public as GloRilla's sister, while having nothing to show for it. The pure humiliation of getting recognized at a club only to walk outside and hop into a Chevy Malibu, while her sister was cruising in luxury and living in a whole different world. Then Victoria brought up the one flashy thing GloRilla did do for their dad, a Jaguar. But even that, she said, was all show and no heart. She claimed their pops didn't even have money for gas to drive it. That expensive car with an empty tank became, in Victoria's eyes, the perfect symbol of their relationship. All shine, no real love behind it. When she dropped those details, the internet exploded. Victoria wasn't just venting like a jealous sibling. She was setting herself up as a truth teller. She was calling herself the one person brave enough to pull the curtain back on what she saw as the fake, picture-perfect image of GloRilla's success. She wanted the world to see the gap between the rapper's public glow-up and the private pain left behind in Memphis. It didn't take long for major outlets to pick it up. The Shade Room, Hot New Hip Hop, Blavity, XXL, they all ran the story. Every quote, every clip, every tear went viral. The story spread to millions in just a few days, and suddenly everyone had an opinion about who was right and who was wrong. But that's exactly when Finesse2Tymes jumped back into the mix, coming in hard. He wasn't there to fact-check every detail. He was there to shut down the whole idea that GloRilla owed anybody anything. He said the entire mindset was twisted. Family or not, nobody deserves a payout just because someone else made it big. And while Finesse was out there burning up Instagram Live with his no-holds-barred rants, GloRilla decided to fight back a different way. No shouting, no name-calling, just cold proof. She started pulling receipts, hopping on live calls, and showing evidence that flipped the whole story on its head. What started as a messy, abandoned family story suddenly turned into something deeper, way more complicated, way more emotional, and way more painful than anyone expected. GloRilla's first counterattack came quick, February 4th, 2026 to be exact. She hit her Instagram story with a screenshot that shut the internet down. It was a text convo between her and their mom, and the message, allegedly from their mama, read, "You do so much for the family. I appreciate everything you do for me and the family." Boom! That was a clean surgical counterpunch. If Victoria had been out here claiming GloRilla did nothing for the fam, this screenshot said the exact opposite. Their mom, the same woman Victoria swore was still clocking in at FedEx, was right there thanking GloRilla for always holding them down. And GloRilla wasn't done yet. She dropped even more text receipts showing messages between her and their cousin Lena Harris that proved she'd been checking in and sending money regularly. Then, with a little extra spice, she posted a link to Indeed.com, the job search site. No caption, no shade in words, just the link. The message was crystal clear. If Victoria wanted money, there were jobs out there waiting. It was quiet but powerful. The same energy Finesse2Tymes would later shout about in his own live, just delivered with GloRilla's calm confidence. But those screenshots, that was just round one. GloRilla took it to another level entirely when she decided to do something almost no celebrity in a family feud would ever dare. She went live and called her parents right there on camera. Thousands of people were watching in real time as she asked them directly if she'd been taking care of them. You could feel the tension through the screen. This was a make or break moment. And just like that, her parents confirmed it. Yes, she had been looking out for them, and yes, she'd even retired them from their jobs. That move was a total game changer. In one bold moment, GloRilla wiped out Victoria's biggest claim and flipped the whole conversation. The live turned into the ultimate proof that she wasn't the cold, neglectful sister people were starting to believe she was. She'd been doing her part all along, and now everyone watching had seen it with their own eyes. If GloRilla's own parents were confirming she'd been looking out for them, then what exactly was Victoria still mad about? That's when things took a shocking turn. GloRilla made it clear, this wasn't just about money anymore. What she started to reveal ran way deeper, cutting into years of personal pain and serious family trauma between the two sisters. During that same Instagram live, GloRilla flipped the whole story on its head. She didn't just deny the accusations, she exposed the dark history behind why she'd been keeping her distance from Victoria. Her tone stayed calm, but her words hit like bombs. She said straight up, "You don't have to say anything about what you did to me as a kid. We ain't gonna talk about how you got me sent to jail, how you tried to shoot me and then set me up." The internet froze. She was saying Victoria once tried to harm her, even got her locked up for a week. These weren't little family arguments or jealousy issues. These were serious claims about betrayal, danger, and deep emotional scars. GloRilla said she'd kept all this quiet for years, trying to keep the peace. But since Victoria brought everything to the internet first, she was done holding back. She said, "I've done a lot. I do not appreciate what Victoria is doing to my family." And that small shift in wording, my family, not our family, spoke volumes. It showed that the sister bond was long gone, and whatever connection they once had been broken way before any Facebook Live went viral. Those revelations changed the entire vibe of the story. Suddenly, people weren't just asking whether GloRilla had been generous enough. They were asking why anyone would expect her to keep giving if her own sister had done all that. What started as a conversation about money turned into something way darker, about safety, trust, and the kind of pain that fame can't ever really fix. And in that moment, everyone watching realized this wasn't just another online feud. This was deep family trauma spilling out for the whole world to see. Victoria fired back fast. Her first move was to question the receipts GloRilla posted. She claimed those text messages weren't real and said their mom, "Don't even type like that." Then she started taking shots at GloRilla's record label and career moves, trying to shift the focus away from the serious accusations. But by that point, the tide had already turned. The whole internet had moved on from talking about FedEx shifts, DoorDash hustles, and that Chevy Malibu. Now it was about something way deeper, a broken family with scars that went back long before fame or money ever entered the picture. And when you look at GloRilla's history, her reaction made sense. Everything about the way she handled the situation lined up with the story she's told about her own life, a story filled with survival, pain, and learning when to protect her peace. In her big April 2024 sit-down on Shannon Sharp's Club Shay Shay podcast, GloRilla opened up about growing up in Memphis in tough conditions, like really tough. She said their home was infested with rats and roaches, and she had to share an air mattress with her sisters until she was 15. There were times when the lights got cut off and the family had to wash up using bottled water just to stay clean. She also talked about being homeschooled by a deeply religious mom who kept their world small, just home, church, and school. GloRilla said she didn't even step foot inside a real classroom until she was 10 years old in 5th grade. And part of the reason things changed back then, she revealed, was because one of her older siblings called Child Protective Services, bringing even more family tension into the mix. That's the environment both sisters grew up in: tight spaces, constant struggle, and very few opportunities. But the difference came in how they each handled it afterward. GloRilla took that pain and turned it into purpose. She poured every ounce of her story into her music, grinding through the Memphis scene, dropping her early tapes like Most Likely Up Next in 2019 and the EPP Status Project in 2020. Then came April 2022 when everything changed. Her breakout track, FNF Let's Go, exploded on TikTok, going viral overnight and even earning her a Grammy nomination. It was her come-up moment, a transformation from those roach-filled nights to red carpets and flashing lights. But now, with this family drama surfacing, fans started to see that the pain behind her lyrics wasn't just storytelling, it was real life, playing out in front of millions. After FNF Let's Go took off, GloRilla's career skyrocketed. She signed with Yo Gotti's collective music group, locked in huge features with Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, and dropped a debut album that landed straight on the Billboard 200. She didn't just blow up, she built everything from scratch, step by step. And that, as Finesse2Tymes kept stressing, was the exact difference between GloRilla and Victoria. Glo grinded, created, and earned her shine, while Victoria, he claimed, hadn't built anything of her own. Soon the rap game itself started to divide. What began as a messy family feud turned into one of the biggest industry controversies of the moment. GloRilla versus Victoria was no longer just about blood. It became a full-on conversation about loyalty, money, and success in the spotlight. Every major hip-hop blog, gossip site, and YouTube channel jumped in to break it down, and rappers across the board started picking sides. One of the first to step in was The Game. The veteran rapper hopped on Instagram to show GloRilla major love, posting that GloRilla don't owe nobody nothing. It was a bold, no room for debate statement that sent the internet spinning. He wasn't leaving space for gray areas, no but or maybe, just a solid wall of support for GloRilla's right to set boundaries with her family. The Game's message hit hard because it came from someone who's seen his own share of public family and industry drama. He's been through it, and his cosign gave GloRilla's stance real weight. Fans and celebs alike took notice. His words made it clear that success doesn't mean you're automatically responsible for fixing everyone else's problems. No matter how rough the come-up was or how deep the shared struggles ran, The Game's post seemed to validate the idea that sometimes protecting your peace and setting limits is part of survival, especially when fame puts your whole family under the microscope. And just like that, what started as a personal issue between two sisters had officially become a full-blown hip-hop moment, one that had everybody talking, arguing, and taking sides across the entire culture. GloRilla was holding her ground, standing on boundaries and peace, but Finesse2Tymes wasn't having it. Once he felt Victoria's claims were getting old, he turned his attention to The Game and called him out directly. Finesse said The Game was being hypocritical, dragging up his own long, messy family issues and putting them right back in the spotlight. His message couldn't have been clearer. You can't preach about loyalty when your own house ain't clean. He was basically acting like the consistency police, checking anybody who tried to sound righteous while ignoring their own skeletons. And Finesse didn't care one bit about names, status, or clout. Whether you were a legend or a newcomer, if you said something that didn't line up, he was coming for you, loudly and publicly. That raw, confrontational energy is what made Finesse2Tymes' role in the whole situation so wild to watch. He didn't tiptoe around feelings or pick easy battles. He went for everybody. Fans couldn't look away. It was like every new live he dropped came with a new headline. Then, right when people thought things couldn't get more chaotic, Freddie Gibbs jumped into the mix, but he brought a whole different vibe. Instead of ranting, choosing sides, or giving long speeches, Gibbs just laughed. He sat back, cracked jokes, and treated the whole thing like a giant hip-hop soap opera. His reaction was pure entertainment. No heavy opinions, no deep dives, just laughter at the chaos. And funny enough, that response hit home with a big part of the audience. There were tons of fans who weren't looking at this as a moral battle or a family tragedy. They saw it as straight-up drama, a reality show playing out live on social media. Gibbs' refusal to take it seriously turned into its own kind of commentary. Like he was saying, y'all wildin' for real and I'm just here for the show. It was that perfect mix of humor and detachment that reminded everyone how quickly real-life pain can get spun into online entertainment. And with that, the saga between GloRilla, Victoria, Finesse2Tymes, and now half the rap industry had officially crossed over from family feud into full-blown viral spectacle. Maybe the world didn't need to be this deep in somebody else's family business, but the drama was too loud to ignore. Then Boozy Badaz stepped in with what was easily one of the calmest and most level-headed takes of the whole saga. On February 10th, 2026, Boozy hopped on his Instagram story and refused to take sides. No Team Glo, no Team Victoria. Instead, he dropped some real game about what everybody was missing in this entire debate. Boozy broke it down plain. People wildly overestimate how much money rappers actually have. He said most folks think a hit record automatically means somebody's rolling in endless cash, but that's not reality. In his words, that's a dangerous misunderstanding of how the music industry really works. He explained how record label contracts, publishing splits, management fees, taxes, and tour costs eat up most of what an artist earns. By the time everyone gets their cut, that $1 million deal doesn't look so big anymore. Boozy wasn't defending GloRilla, and he wasn't bashing Victoria either. He was just keeping it real about the business side of fame. In his own words, he said artists should look out for their family when they can, but not if it means draining themselves dry just to prove loyalty. It was a rare moment of balanced truth in a conversation that had been full of extremes. On one side, Finesse2Tymes telling Victoria to go wash cars, and on the other, the game insisting GloRilla didn't owe anyone anything. Boozy's point landed perfectly in the middle, the real messy middle ground where most family issues actually live when the cameras aren't rolling. His take reminded everyone that life isn't all black and white, and even fame doesn't erase complicated family ties. But just when it seemed like things might finally calm down, the internet got hit with a curveball nobody had on their bingo card. Out of nowhere, word started spreading that Tory Lanez, who was still locked up at the time, allegedly sent Victoria the entire $2,500 she'd been asking for. That move flipped everything again, turning a family feud into a full-blown internet moment with another celebrity name thrown into the mix. It was wild, unexpected, and just like that, the story that refused to die got another twist that kept fans talking for days. Victoria didn't waste any time confirming it. She hopped on Instagram and thanked Tory Lanez publicly, saying the $2,500 had officially come through. The gesture was wild, both generous and provocative. I mean, think about it. An incarcerated rapper sending money to a total stranger, covering the exact amount her own superstar sister allegedly wouldn't. That move had the internet spinning. Some people saw it as a noble act that made GloRilla look heartless by comparison, while others called it pure strategy, a slick PR stunt from Tory, who definitely had his own reasons for wanting some good press while behind bars. Either way, the move dropped another explosive twist into a story that was already running nonstop across social media, YouTube channels, and hip-hop blogs. Reaction videos were popping up by the hour. Everybody had a take. Then came Turk, another Southern rap veteran who jumped in to back up Victoria's side. He argued that yes, when someone makes it out of poverty, they do have a responsibility to help family. His opinion stood out because while most rappers were backing GloRilla's boundary-setting stance, Turk flipped it and brought up the moral side, saying success doesn't erase the obligation to reach back for the ones who struggle with you. Even though Turk's take wasn't the popular one, it made sure the debate stayed balanced, showing both sides of the argument still had a voice. From Complex to BET, Hot 97, and a long list of media outlets, everyone was covering it, tracking each post, every live, every new detail as the feud grew bigger and messier by the day. What started as one emotional Facebook Live from Victoria had now turned into something massive, a full-blown industry-wide conversation about fame, family, and what celebrities really owe the people who came up with them. Every rapper who spoke out represented a different belief system. Some said loyalty comes first, others said boundaries are survival, and fans were picking sides fast. People weren't just talking about the Woods family anymore. They were projecting their own family experiences onto it. For some, it was about betrayal and struggle. For others, it was about independence and respect. Either way, the fallout spread far beyond Memphis. The internet had turned one family feud into a nationwide debate on money, loyalty, and what success truly costs. While the rappers were busy debating the drama from their platforms and Instagram lives, the real war was happening online. Fans were going at it in comment sections, quote tweets, TikTok stitches, and forum threads, firing shots, posting memes, and breaking down receipts like detectives. It was chaotic, emotional, and honestly, way more revealing than anything the celebrities were saying. The GloRilla versus Victoria feud hit a nerve that went way beyond music. It cracked open a cultural debate that people have been whispering about for years. When you make it out, are you supposed to carry everyone who came up with you, even if some of those same people were part of the struggle you had to escape? That question had social media completely divided. The pro-GloRilla camp came loud and united. They flooded Instagram comments, the Shade Room posts, and hip-hop blogs with one clear message: Victoria's being entitled. Fans wrote that no matter how close the bloodline is, nobody's automatically owed a piece of someone else's success. Comments were flying in left and right, saying things like, entitlement is real and go get you some money, basically echoing Finesse2Tymes' main talking point almost word for word. For them, GloRilla wasn't the villain. She was the example of how to protect your peace when people start treating your wins like their paycheck. Meanwhile, over on X, formerly Twitter, users were doubling down on the same boundary-setting narrative. Threads popped off with people writing stuff like, it's always funny when folks expect a millionaire to save the whole family, while others clap back hard saying, nobody owes anybody anything. Still, not everyone agreed. Some users pushed back, arguing that you can't forget the ones who were with you before the fame, and that success means nothing if your people are still struggling. The clash between those two mindsets, boundaries versus loyalty, kept timelines on fire for days. It wasn't just gossip anymore. It was a mirror of real-life struggles people face every day. The drama had turned into a digital battleground, where fans weren't just watching, they were picking sides based on their own stories, pain, and principles. Some of GloRilla's supporters dug even deeper into the situation, connecting all this drama to her well-known history of childhood trauma. They argued that if GloRilla chose to cut Victoria off, then there had to be a real reason behind it. One rooted in pain, boundaries, and survival. Others framed it as pure self-preservation, saying, walking away from toxicity even when it's family ain't abandonment, it's survival. That take hit hard with fans who've had to make the same painful choices in their own lives. But the pro-Victoria camp, while smaller, refused to stay quiet. Their argument came from a place of moral and cultural belief, a deep sense of obligation that runs through many tight-knit communities. Over on Facebook, they flooded threads with messages like, when you're blessed, you bless others. They believe that if you come from poverty together, there's an unspoken covenant to look out for one another once you make it big. They pointed right back to Victoria's biggest claim, that GloRilla has used their family struggles as fuel for her music and interviews. To them, that wasn't just art, it was exploitation. Fans on that side said, you can't build your whole brand on shared pain and then refuse to share the blessings. Reaction channels on YouTube jumped in heavy, analyzing Victoria's TMZ interview frame by frame. Many creators echoed the same message. If all Victoria wanted was $2,500, that wasn't greed, it was humility. They argued that compared to GloRilla's fame and wealth, that number was tiny, almost symbolic. Supporters also pointed out the size of the Woods family, 10 siblings, aging parents, and a long history of shared struggle. They said the moral math in a situation like that hits different. In a big family built on survival, success is supposed to circle back. So while one side was saying set boundaries or drown, the other side was saying you don't forget the people who built you. Both sides were shouting their truth, and that tension between independence and obligation is exactly what kept the GloRilla Victoria saga burning through every feed, comment section, and timeline. The need in this whole situation clearly ran deep, and so did the capacity to help. But then there was a third group of people, and honestly, it was a big one. They didn't pick sides at all. They just wanted everybody to log off and handle it privately. Their message was simple. This is family business, not internet content. Comment sections started filling up with calls for peace and privacy. These folks said the real issue wasn't what was being said, it was where it was being said. They argued that if Victoria truly had real grievances, taking them to Facebook Live and TMZ completely destroyed any chance of resolving things quietly. And on the flip side, they said if GloRilla really wanted to defend herself, doing it with IG screenshots and live phone calls with her parents just turned something deeply personal into a viral performance. TikTok creators echoed that same energy, posting videos that questioned the entire culture around this kind of thing. Why were so many celebrities airing out family drama in front of millions of strangers who didn't know them personally? One creator summed it up perfectly. At some point, y'all gotta remember, this ain't content, it's people's lives. Even major platforms like BET and Hot 97 started diving into the conversation, expanding it beyond the Woods family and into a bigger truth about what fame does to people who come from the bottom. They talked about how artists from humble beginnings carry systemic weight, pressure that's both financial and emotional. The expectations are wild and all over the place. Be grateful for your success, but also share it. Stay humble, but flex enough to prove you made it. Hold the family down, but protect your bag. Set boundaries, but never forget your roots. And do all of this while millions of people, fans, blogs, and even relatives watch your every move, waiting to judge whether you've changed. That contradiction is what made the GloRilla and Victoria saga hit so hard. It wasn't just gossip anymore. It became a reflection of what happens when private struggles get dragged into a public spotlight that never, ever turns off. GloRilla isn't the first star to get caught in this impossible trap and definitely won't be the last. The parallels to other celebrities who've had to navigate the same family versus fame tension popped up fast. Tyler Perry once revealed he gave his relatives just 6 days to find jobs after his mother passed away. He called it tough love, his way of breaking the cycle of dependency before it became permanent. Then there's Mariah Carey, who openly cut ties with siblings she described as toxic and manipulative, choosing peace of mind and emotional safety over constant chaos. Eminem built entire albums around his pain, turning stories about his mom's neglect and abuse into platinum records, all while keeping a wide distance from her in real life. And 50 Cent, he made independence his trademark, cutting off family members he said were trying to live off his success. For him, financial freedom meant emotional freedom too. No handouts, no guilt. Even Britney Spears had her version of the story. She accused her entire family of exploiting her under her conservatorship, and public sympathy rushed to her side. Fans saw her reclaiming her power, and her decision to separate from them became part of her healing journey. In almost every one of these cases, the pattern was the same. The famous person drew hard boundaries, and the internet eventually backed them up. Their careers didn't crumble, they actually got stronger. Meanwhile, the family members who took things public usually found that gaining sympathy online was way harder than it looked. Victoria's saga with GloRilla followed that same script almost exactly. Her first Facebook Live sparked curiosity and sympathy. People felt her pain. Then her TMZ sit-down made her sound vulnerable and relatable, like she was just asking for something simple and fair. But as the drama stretched on, the energy started shifting. The more Victoria spoke publicly, the more fans began stacking her words against GloRilla's receipts. And those screenshots, live calls, and calm responses from GloRilla started painting a whole different picture. Add to that the deeper revelations about their strained history, and suddenly the sympathy line began to blur. By the time the dust started settling, the story wasn't just about who sent money or who didn't. It had turned into a modern-day case study in fame, family, and how fast the internet decides who the villain really is. Those deeper revelations about past violence and family tension slowly chipped away at Victoria's image in the eyes of the public. On Lipstick Alley, one of the internet's most active gossip forums, users debated the situation for pages and pages, analyzing every detail, every post, every clip. By the end, a lot of them came to the same conclusion. Victoria's own approach had done more damage to her case than anything GloRilla ever said. Meanwhile, fans who'd been following GloRilla since her come up weren't surprised at all. They pointed back to old interviews and stories from her childhood, reminding everyone that the same family now asking for help was the one that had failed her growing up. People brought up how GloRilla had talked about struggling for basic necessities, how her education got delayed, and how things were so bad that Child Protective Services had to step in. By then, sympathy had started to shift hard in GloRilla's favor. The internet began framing her not as a cold sister, but as someone who'd survived real trauma and learned to protect her peace at all costs. As of the latest updates, there's been no real resolution, no reconciliations, no apologies, just silence and tension. The whole situation sits there like an open wound, a messy family feud that got 10 times worse the second it hit the internet. Once strangers, celebs, and algorithm-driven content pages started feeding off it, the drama became unstoppable, spreading across every platform imaginable. And one thing's for sure, Finesse2Tymes kept the flames alive. His bold confrontational style made sure every single update sparked another round of viral clips, hot takes, and arguments. Whether he stepped in out of Memphis loyalty, genuine emotion, or just knowing that controversy drives clicks, only he knows. But the end result was clear. What started as a private argument between two sisters turned into a full-blown industry spectacle. The internet, like it always does, picked sides, crowned its winner, and then moved on, waiting for the next viral chapter to drop. Still, beneath all the noise, one truth stuck with everyone watching. Behind the fame, the money, and the headlines, this was just a family hurt, divided, and trying to survive in front of millions. And thanks for tuning in and catching all the wild twists in this story. This drama had everything: family tension, fame, and social media chaos that just wouldn't quit. If you're still locked in and want to keep riding the wave, don't stop here. Click one of the boxes on your screen right now to dive into another jaw-dropping story just like this one, packed with more shocking receipts, crazy plot turns, and behind-the-scenes tea you don't want to miss.